Hi everybody, welcome to Friday's English lesson where our can I is to apply speech punctuation correctly. The idea is we're going to take all of those skills that we learned about with using direct speech yesterday and then we're going to put them into some writing today. Now I know there was quite a lot to go through, so hopefully today's starter is going to help refresh your memory on kind of those things we covered. So if you look, you've got two choices here. You can either write out the sentences as they are or write them out correctly, or I've put this starter onto a document onto the website so that you've got it there if you want to just edit onto the screen the way I'm going to do. So I've got 5 sentences, including direct speech in. They've all got marvellous mistakes in. Some of them have got more than one. See if you can pause me, spot where the marvellous mistake is, spot which rule the writer has forgotten about. Okay? So if we take a look at this one, and I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the punctuation. So Dad shouted, comma, speech mark. Good start so far, verb, comma, speech. What were you thinking? Exclamation mark, comma, speech mark. Hopefully straight away you can spot that. We've got double bubble punctuation. We don't need that. The punctuation is inside, but if we're using an exclamation mark, it replaces the comma. So we don't actually need that comma there. Okay. Obviously, if it was the other way around, if we had, what were you thinking? Dad shouted, you could still use the exclamation mark, or you might use the comma because it comes before the verb. Okay, but you can't use, you couldn't just have the comma on its own because it's the end of the sentence there. And then we've got, was it really that bad, said Liam. I hope you can probably spot the issue there. We've got all of it in the speech marks. And remember, what do the speech marks go around? They go around exactly what's being said. Liam isn't saying, was it really that bad, said Liam. That would be like me saying, how are you doing, children, said Mrs. Elmore. Doesn't make sense, right? So, was it really that bad is what's being said. So we're going to get rid of those speech marks there, move it over. The other thing, he's asking a question. Was it really that bad? So we're going to want a question mark inside those speech marks, okay? And we've got, Mum chipped in, you could have been killed. Tiny little mistake here. Hopefully you spotted it. The comma. We go verb, comma, speech. If the speech is coming afterwards, that comma shouldn't go inside there. It should go before the speech mark, okay? So get rid of that. But she's got the capital, which is right. We start our speech with a capital. That's fine. And we've got, but I wasn't, he cried. Straight away looking at that, to me it looks wrong. What about you guys? Loads missing here. Firstly, it's the start of a sentence and the start of speech. Therefore, that should be a capital. This doesn't need to be a capital because it's all part of the same sentence. So that should be a lowercase. And finally, what else is missing? The comma. Should be, but I wasn't, comma, verb. So speech, comma, verb, that way around. Yeah? And then this one. Yes, but that's not the point, she sighed. It's not safe. Hopefully you spotted that. She sighed is not part of the speech. Here we've got some split speech. So we know that this bit isn't being said. So we're going to need some speech marks here for this first bit. Yes, but that's not the point. And then it's not safe. That's what's being said, so it needs its speech marks. Now let's have a look. Where else? What else are we missing? Well, firstly, we need a comma here to show that it's not the end of the sentence. Yes, but that's not the point. She sighed. It's not safe. Now, totally up to you. I was thinking about this and I thought, actually, this could be that it's not safe is part of that first sentence. Therefore, we just have a comma there, no capital. Or it could be that we're saying it's not safe is an entirely different sentence. If that is the case, then we would put a full stop there and we'd have a capital there. I think it really depends, that one. I would probably say it is two separate sentences and therefore have the full stop then the capital. But because it's the same person speaking, we've got it on the same line. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, guys. What I would also suggest is for today's lesson, having the help sheet that I put up yesterday, both with the picture of the board that I'd put up on my wall, but also with the kind of it was like a steps to success, wasn't it, for if you're doing the verb after the speech or before the speech. Have that on hand to look at, a bit like we would have our writer's toolkits or something in school, and that should help. Because today, what you are going to write is you are going to imagine you are writing down the police interview with Liam Digsby after he sort of almost accidentally stole a Porsche. Okay, so we're imagining, this is a police interview. I've got up here, and again, this is on the website should you want to print it off and make your report look very official as well. We've got our little Merseyside police there when the interview took place. Now, obviously, we know this story is being told like he's flashing back to these things happening. So I haven't put today's date for it. Okay, just put a date in the past. So we've got Officer President, DC Chapman, and Liam Digsby as accused. So it's a conversation between the two. So we're probably, while you're listening and watching me read out, then I want you to think about what parts of direct speech you can see. Okay, so, good afternoon, young man. Can I start by taking your full name and age? DC Chapman asks sternly. The witness thinks for a minute before replying. My name's Digsby, he stammers. Oh, I mean Liam Digsby, sir. I'm exactly 11 years, 9 months and 14 days old, sir. Sneering unkindly, the policeman responds. Well, Mr. Digsby, I've been told you were having quite the time of it earlier. Would you like to tell me exactly what you were doing in that car showroom? And that's where you guys are going to carry on from, or write your own original bit and continue from. Okay, so let's start. Let's get the old highlighter out. Let's have a look for some features of speech that would have included in there. Well, firstly, I think the most obvious one is that use of inverted commas or speech marks. I've used doubles. You can see that the whole way through, and you can see that is around everything that's being spoken. Okay, anything else doesn't need speech marks because it's not what's being said out loud by the characters. Okay, so we've got they come in pairs. So we've got those two, those two, those two, and then those two. Okay, we've got a mixture here of, we've got kind of speech, comma verb. So we've got the speech first here, and then we've got the verb. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that my verb is actually in present tense. Instead of saying asked, I'm saying asks. I'm talking as if it's actually happening. Now, the reason for that is because it's as if I'm kind of recording the interview as it's happening. It's totally your choice whether you do the same. It might be that you go, do you know what? Writing in present tense is something I'm going to find tricky. So I'm going to write all of it in past tense. If that is the case, totally fine however you do it, but you just need to be consistent, okay? So if you're doing past tense, do past tense the whole way through. If you're doing present tense, do that the whole way through, okay? Obviously, what's being said will be in present tense because you're writing it as if that's what they are saying, yeah? So we've got speech, then our verb. We've got, we've got a bit of split speech in the middle here, okay? It's a split speech, and you can see for the split speech, I've got my comma, and then I continue there. Then we've got, let's have a look. On the last one, I've got verb. Oh, no, I didn't want to use that colour. I want to use a different one. I've got verb, comma, speech. So you can see I've kind of varied it in terms of the order. A few other things, you can see I've got loads of commas and I've got capitals at the start of whenever somebody new is talking, okay, or they're starting a new sentence. So, like I said, the policeman is interviewing him as to what on earth he was doing in the showroom, what actually happened. He's asking for kind of Liam's account on that, all right? Now, what you're going to do is, and I put this as a warm-up, normally this is something we would do as a we do, but you can do it as a little bit of a warm-up just to get those creative juices flowing. So think about, if this is DC Chapman's question, so would you like to tell me exactly what you were doing in that car showroom? What do you think Liam's response would be? Could you just think about, right, what would that next sentence be? What would Liam say next? And if you can, write it down. If you can in present tense, great. If you can't and you're sticking to past, that's fine, but just stick to past the whole way through. One other thing you can be thinking about is, in your response, How many of these speech skills bingo can you include? Can you get a line? Can you get a full house? Okay, so before we move on to writing the whole thing, just have a go at writing that sentence for me. Okay, hopefully you've got it all right. What you can always do, by the way, if you're not sure, you can always pause me here, drop me an email with the sentence that you're doing, your next sentence, and then you can wait until you've heard back from me to carry on the lesson. Do you know what I mean? Like in the way that you would normally ask for help in a lesson, please feel free to do that now. And then you can come back to this once you've had a response. It might be that you've got a teeny tiny mistake that I can then help you out on. Okay? Right. Hopefully then you've had a go at making your first sentence and you can kind of see where you're going to take your interview. Okay, so what I'll do, let me just go back. You might want to pause the screen here so you can see my example. What I'll also do actually, if I put this kind of Waggle starter onto the sheet that's going on the website today as well, then you've got it there. Then you can have a go at writing your own. And then your final steps I want you to do. So again, you might want to pause now for writing and then come back when you've written. Last thing I'd want you to do is I want you to become the punctuation police. Not DC Chapman questioning Liam. I want you to imagine that you are the police in charge of checking that your punctuation is following the law in your writing. Okay, so again, I've put edit with a partner here. It might be you can do it with somebody at home. It might be you want to do it with a friend live. If you want to go solo, that's absolutely fine. And I've just put a bit of an editing checklist down at the bottom here for things that you can do, for things you should be looking for while you're editing. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, when I've written something, sometimes it's not very helpful going straight back to look at it as soon as I've finished because it's all still in my head the way it was when I wrote it. Whereas what's best for me is if I've written something, I then go away and do something else. And, you know, maybe even whether that's 10 minutes, half an hour, and then I come back with a pair of fresh eyes, I like to call them, to have a look. And I find I'm much more likely to find mistakes that way. It might be that that's not the case for you. It might be that doing it as soon as you've finished is best for you. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, we've got checking that you've got your speech marks before and after your speech starts, checking for your punctuation, checking whether you've got verb, comma before or comma, speech mark, verb if it's afterwards, new line, new speaker. If you haven't remembered to do this, it's a really common, marvellous mistake. Remember, you can just put in those lines. What that means is starting a new line. Okay, so don't worry if you look back and go, oh no, I didn't start a new line for a new speaker. Show that with your editing. Okay. Again, as always, if you would like to send me your work so that I can have a look and maybe give you a couple of suggestions for your editing, or I know yesterday I was able to go, oh, amazing work, you've made a marvellous mistake in number 2, and that person was able to straight away see what the mistake was, then have a go at that for me, troops. I'm always happy to send you through some feedback and hopefully get this sorted. Okay. So you will have me on Monday where I'm going to be telling you a bit more about a different type of speech we can use. And then Miss Rutherford will be taking you through that and some other skills later in the week. All right. Have a brilliant weekend, guys. You've worked so hard. I know we've had loads and loads of stuff we've jam-packed into this week. And I'm really proud of you for finishing it. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.